Uh-huh. Let's see if I can actually paste it
Ted,
correctly.
we have this fight so many times a week.
Well,
Max,
get
it's
used
once
to
a week.
it, I guess.
It's once a week. It just seems more often because there are two of us doing it.
Oh, no.
Now recording.
No, you don't understand. This same argument happens on Thursdays and Fridays without fail.
Now keep going.
Ready for revolution.
Keep going. We're recording. We haven't had Namoo's Boosh in a while.
No.
No,
You
this
got
is
one
what
Thursday.
happened our last Friday and Thursday. We're good.
Oh shit. Yeah.
I swear we had one on not my Monday, but your Monday, like two Mondays ago,
We might
Cody.
have. I say some stupid shit. Which is it occurs to me is now being fuck. I say some stupid shit. Can somebody ringtone that for me? I think it was clean enough a take.
Yeah.
Who wants to give me a description of 2 weeks ago and the things that happened for inspiration?
We got on a boat,
We did indeed.
and that boat set sail. We left the port of Bagaro and Pendeldock
Yeah.
on our way to the port of Else, where we were gonna hit the stars.
Yep.
Along the way, some other stuff happened. Here it is. Let's see. We're on a mission to transport some Gork pigs from the 14th sphere. We're heading through the port of Else. It's the 5th planet. And we're bringing them to the southern part of Svartalholm, a place called Jastheim. On the 3rd day at sea, Beacon heard a noise. We diverted course to investigate, and we found an adolescent sky whale that was under attack by slipstream pairs. We defeated those slipstreams and broke the water net that was holding the sky whale and set it free. We saw some other sky whales descend to meet their child. And yeah, that was the most interesting. And then we were just on the sea, where we still are.
Fungus.
Yes. The one thing you guys know about Gork is that it is a fungus world, and you know that because you have Gork pigs, which are
Don't eat. Or
Yeah,
only eat
apparently
if they're
don't.
supposed to breed or something. I don't know.
yeah, they don't eat until it's time to breed, and then they reproduce asexually. Is how it's described to you. I think the last thing also that happened is the trash goblin Sev is trying to cook some fish on an engine.
Eel.
Eel on an engine, which didn't poison her, so that's not nothing.
He's eating worse.
Yeah, it's better than rat, honestly.
And that's good enough for me.
So yeah, you all obviously get a long rest that evening. Nothing else happens as the ship diverts back onto its course. The next 2 days of voyage, at least compared to, the 3rd day that you had, passed more or less without incident. The weather is fairly nice. The tide is helping you a little bit, so it's fairly easy sailing. Beacon and Ducks. Not much to be done. Does make this a little bit lazy compared to some of what you're used to, Ducks, but not bad. So yeah, if there's anything each of you want to do or be doing kind of as a project during the next 2 days.
Oh shit. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I need a bungee cord
Yes, you
to
do.
get me on the deck.
Yeah, so there's a project to be had here, a little bit of a collaboration, which is that Beacon is going to need your help probably, and probably Dux's help, Sev, to try to make some kind of rig to get down from the rigging quickly without injury, or at least with minimal injury.
Upon them like asking me this or like describing this to me, how like in detail would this design be described to me?
We would approach you. Oh God, we'd approach you by saying, "We can't get out of the crow's nest fast enough. If we are attacked again by slipstream pairs or any other thing in this water, we have to be faster, and we move better when its legs are not broken."
Yeah, I could probably do that. That seems a little bit simple for me. I mean, easy way is counterweight pulley. It's just like hook it on to the crow's nest and you just, have a knot, step on the knot, hold the thing and ride it down. Right? Am I crazy? Can't Ducks, you're a rigger. You can do that, right?
Possibly, but hear me out. What if... Okay, so first we would have to have a large bucket of water that we keep up on the crow's nest, and then we manufacture some kind of like slope that spirals around, and then whenever it's time to rush down, you pull the lever and the bucket pours the water down this slope, and you ride with the water so that it, helps you move quicker, and you slide your way down in a bit of a spiral and are deposited at the bottom.
Beacon blinks at you, like blank-eyed.
The rope would work too.
We do not want to dislocate its shoulders in the descent either. Something secure that would come without an abrupt stop.
We put a large container of water at the bottom of the slope that you would be deposited into.
Okay, that sounds really fun. I do have to go with Beacon. Straight line's usually more efficient than going woo 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 all the way down.
Helig from her position over like on the Yolbo calls over her shoulder and says, "You know that water is like solid when you hit it from up high fast, yeah?"
Yes, we
Yes,
know.
okay,
Well, you'd be
yeah.
sliding down into it. It wouldn't
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, no, but
you're not
there's
trying
like
to
spiral
jump
comes
into
into play.
water.
The problem is not distance, the speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We would need something that at the very last moment would slow you suddenly. Very
Yes, this is what we need. Otherwise, we could drop from a rope. But again, broken legs, dislocated arms, it does not appreciate when I treat it thusly.
Man, you're gonna make me make something rocket powered, aren't you? All right.
I don't know what that means. Well, in the degree that you mean.
Well, the counterweight would slow you from being in just a plain old free fall. But what if, like, at the end, if the rope or whatever had some kind of like stretchy component, that like the counterweight caught and then you aren't quite on the ground yet, and so it has to like stretch, and that slows you down and sets you down gently. Like a spring or something.
All right. Good idea, but I don't think you know how physics works.
I mean, sure, probably not, but I'm just trying to be helpful. I think the
Right.
slide should be investigated, even if it's not for this
Yeah,
purpose.
I mean,
That
I'm
might
kind
be
to agree. Slide seems very fun. Like, can we do slide around whole
just
ship?
recreation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nez will shit, actually. That's even funnier. Yeah, can you make slide go all the way around? Like 2 times, maybe?
We could have some spots where the slide is like covered and it's dark inside. You know.
hmm I mean, why? Oh, I guess that that would be very fun for you. Yes.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Well, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Haha.
Mhm.
Sev just sort of like is looking very interested, and then her expression sort of fades, and then she looks to Beacon and is like, "Did he put you up to this? Did he just ask you to ask me about that very, very practical thing to install a water slide?"
What?
Okay, never mind. Cool. So, anyways, bungee cord, good idea. You won't come down though.
You'll go
Like,
back up. Yeah.
you'll just go back up. That's
Well,
usually how things.
it would require Beacon to not be like like attached, you know. That way at the moment, like the very end of the bunginess, he just steps off. And then the bungee jumps back up and maybe like hits something like a bird or something that's flying, but Beacon is not with it. They are down.
All right.
Very
Seems like a safety hazard. I am.
well, yeah, but you know, he could take it. Pardon me.
Yes, we could take. I don't want. We can take it.
Okay, that was weird,
Just don't
right?
let
Like,
go. Just don't let go. That's the thing. Or like be attached and then at the right moment just like cut the rope, but then we'd have to like make a new one every time.
Yeah, it would require a lot of dexterity, which I don't doubt, Beacon has. But, I'd probably just, have something you could step off and then resets for the next person if two people are up there.
like a platform goes up down, which is just an elevator.
Yeah, like a platform that goes up and down. Again, usually how those works are counterweights and like pulleys, but they're usually heavier because they're like
And
that'll
slow.
probably be my design. Well, it wouldn't be slow because the counterweight wouldn't have to be that big. It would just have to be kind of your weight, but lighter. So you would basically be falling as fast as you could without breaking your legs. Because an abrupt stop by any other means would mean, shattering your knees, your ankles giving out, etc., etc. I sort of was thinking while you guys were talking, I wasn't really listening. I was thinking about something magnetic, but, that runs into the same problem. Rocket powered too. Like
Rocket
don't know if you've
power
ever
sounds like more fun.
it is more fun, but if you take it
That
from
one will
me,
make me shit. Actually, also very funny.
yeah. I've tried to stop with these bad boys from falling really high. I
Mhm.
kind of broke my arms, and these things can lift. So, if I didn't have my rig, I would be toast.
Okay, maybe
So-
start with like rope, and then work from there to rocket. Maybe like stepwise development.
Yeah, that'll probably be.
hmm His long-term project. It's good to have projects like hobbies. You can make mass elevator.
I mean,
As long as it's fast and doesn't hurt me.
I could just catch Beacon. You could just jump off and then I'd, catch you.
Tyler, stop flirting with all of my characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, physics is
No
probably the same
offense.
problem.
That it'd kind of
Mm.
hurt. It wouldn't kill you, but it'd hurt. And I don't trust your accuracy. And The only way for that body of theirs to keep fighting is for it to be all in one piece and not shattered and bloody on the ground. So I'm gonna strike that one off.
What if we put a series of like claws that are like stretched, and then Beacon jumps and like they'll bust through a few of them, but then like land softly on the last one.
You'd have to reset. Oh, sweet baby.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's good to have hobbies. This thing, it's good to have chores, hobbies, things to do every day. You could every
Yep.
day go out and make new hands.
And I'm gonna go ahead and go do a hobby. Elsewhere, really love you guys' idea. I'll take them into consideration and
Okay.
they'll do the thing. Yep. Okay, bye, 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 bye.
It's good talk.
Do you, like,
Let Mig know before you make any big. I cannot hear. Yeah.
yeah. She'll probably go down to
So, do you have an actionable blueprint you want to try to Tinker's Tools meet into existence,
I'll
or do you want to give it some thought?
I'll probably go to Nez and see what kind of hardware, like ship hardware he's got.
Yeah.
And like ship hardware, I don't mean like engine shit because I know he's not the one for it, but like sales shit, blocks, tackle, etc.
He when you try to get into his workshop, he just shakes his head. No. What do you need?
You got any spare like pulleys and rope?
Yeah.
May I borrow them for a project?
Was that a requisition, or you gonna give it back?
Requisition. I know that word.
You need to let Mig know.
Okay, fine.
Mhm.
She'll just sort of like stomp off, go back to her room. Meg!
You hear
Yes.
Beacon kind of like call downstairs. What about like a cloth in a backpack or something? And you jump and then you release the cloth and it's like an umbrella, but it catches wind.
Beacon makes no indication to any of these suggestions that they have neither heard nor or care, but are
That'd be really
standing
slow.
within hearing distance.
You catch Mig doing the same thing he does every day, which is with his little clipboard going around and just inspecting things and crossing off little check marks.
Hey,
What is
a requisition, please, from Nez.
Mm-hmm. What do you require?
Probably big pulley, kind of like the ones you use for the rigging, and rope. And maybe a hook. Yeah, hook.
What is this for?
Well, it's the lookouts are complaining, and the rigger, I guess, are complaining that they don't want to die by jumping off the masts.
Reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they also want to get into combat real fast. So I'm going to make them something that gets them down safely and doesn't hurt them and isn't very long and convoluted, like a parachute or a slide filled with water that goes around and around.
That is a good instinct, I feel. Yes, you may have your requisition. Simply tell me what you have taken. I will evaluate it, and we will resupply at the next port.
Sweet. Do I get like a paper or something? I usually get
No.
paper for this.
Give me your requisition in written form, please. Any paper will do, but for the moment, simply tell Nez I have spoken with you.
Okay, sure. All right. Bring it back. she goes up to Nez and is like, got the requisition.
This time when you come down, Patch is standing out in front of the workshop and like sees you and just waves happily.
Oh, hey, Patch. You want to tell Nez that I got the requisition?
Patch looks back into the room, and no sounds are made.
Do you want to just get the stuff that I've requisitioned for me?
At this point, Nez comes walking out, muttering with what looks like a little tiny wagon that has the things that you've asked for.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, Nez.
Mm.
I'm not gonna step into your man cave, so may I? She sort of stretches her hand out and opens and closes her hand.
Go on.
All right, sweet.
Patch waves at you again.
See ya, Patch. She runs off to she runs off and stomps down the crew quarters
Mhm.
and knocks on Zadakis's door. Zadakis!
What? What do you need? What's going on?
Hey!
Are we under attack?
No, can I have some paper? And a
Paper,
pen. That's optional.
Of course. Designing something, I assume. Here you go.
Yep. Thank you.
You know, you can get it from Mig, because that's where I got it from.
He sort of looks at the paper and then looks up very contemplatively for a good 30 seconds. Huh. Yeah, no, you're right. Fuck, I'm dumb. Okay, bye. See ya. Okay, bye. Sorry.
No problem. I'm on my way up to the deck as it is.
You come up onto the deck to see Duck still just spitballing at Beacon, who is standing, listening but not looking at him.
I'm telling you, we could use the slide, and instead of having it take a long time and spin, it's a straight drop, a vertical drop, hardly any angle. But then at the end, we just have a long chute that stretches across the whole deck, and it's full of water, and so you're sliding through it, and that water resistance slows you down.
What on? You know what? I don't want to know.
Hello, Zadakis. They're talking about water slides recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
One of
He
our
is
ideas
talking
to
about
bring
water slides.
water onto a boat when there are entire designs to make sure we can eliminate water from a boat.
yes, it's a strange decision. I agree, but also
A couple of us are able to easily destroy water. I mean, the sea's on my side.
yeah, been meaning to ask actually. How would you get the water up to it? You need the water. You need to have pump make water go up always, right? So you're just
We have a bilge pump, don't we?
okay. So we get the bilge. Yes.
Well,
we get the
Bilge water on deck.
No,
I mean,
No.
I could
God,
just
no.
start
I
with
just meant we have a pump to move.
Yeah,
water.
we
That
just
is
don't
nothing
use
to-
the bilge pump anymore for anything else. We just use it for water slide.
or
you can
we
also
just
use
have a
full-on
very
digger
large
to
bucket
variable
already
blend
up at the top, and you pull the cord, and the bucket, lets the water go when you need it.
Well,
It would take
I-
timing as the one use without resetting it.
And what is this entire contraption meant to do again?
Get Beacon
Said-
from up there to down here faster than
Without
climbing,
breaking
but
our legs.
slower than breaking
Without
legs.
damaging the organism or whatever.
Yes.
And we can't simply connect a rope from the mast to the bowsprit. It would be at an angle. You could slide down.
Okay,
I would-
well,
Slow
We would
descent.
still be requiring some guards, and they flex their hands.
Yes, put a pulley or something with the
Okay,
rope
well-
a little bit
Mhm.
slack,
And then a glove that's got a chunk of leather on it, and then you can grab onto the rope with that glove without burning your hand, and you can use that to slow yourself down.
Why wouldn't you just use a pulley? Pulleys are designed to go on rope.
The pulley makes you go fast, and the glove makes you go slow. You gotta have both.
okay,
Yeah,
I'm
and then
losing
we'll-
the plot slightly on your plan, Dux. I was with you for water slide. Now we're getting into gloves.
Real talk, though, Tyler does have a point.
Yeah.
Tyler has a point. Pulley go down fast. Pulley still break legs.
Tyler worked at a water park that also
Yeah.
had zip lines, and you have a glove with a chunk of leather that you use as a brake. Of course, like guests have a special pulley that has like a rubber pad brake that you use instead, but like those of us that were trained had a glove.
Sev, you're probably getting up to deck at this time. Real quick, Constance, do you want to wander up?
Oh, I'm not going back up on deck to design this. I'm doing this
Fair enough.
shit in my room.
Yeah, Sev is workshopping.
Julie doing a good work.
Constance, you can hear this like spirited discussion from the deck above you, since you're like a floor below in the kitchen.
What seems to be all the hubbub?
I mean, mostly they're trying to make a water slide, I think, or maybe like a
Constance,
rope.
I
need your vote.
Slide.
Oh,
Water slide or zip tie? Zip line.
A zip tie is a different thing.
Yeah.
well, I am very encouraged that you are discussing additional recreation opportunities.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You're on the same page.
This started as a discussion of how to get us, and we put a hand or a chest down from the rigging quickly without injury, but it has evolved.
Oh, well,
It technically still is that other thing, but now it's other things too.
But why not do it with style,
I don't think there's any problem in you getting down quickly. It's the stopping that's the problem.
Agreed. It does not appreciate when we do injury to it for the sake of
Oh, perhaps a net.
swiftness.
Yeah, net would make sense too.
A net would then have to be removed from around our body.
Well,
Well, if you land on a net like a trampoline.
And would then have to climb from the net.
Yes, but, you would at least be on the deck.
Well,
quickly.
once you land in the net, could you do your smoky thing and just like appear somewhere else?
It is more complicated than that.
Okay, yeah, well.
One of us would remain where we were.
Ugh.
wait, you can be in two places at once?
Yes?
I guess, never mind, that kind of makes sense.
The lantern door opens itself and the mist forms the echo.
What about like a thin pole that you just slide down and you can control your speed by how tight you squeeze onto the pole?
That might be sufficient.
That sounds delightful.
How long do you think this would take you? Actually, give me tinkers.
It's also worth noting, while a fireman's pole might not be the wrong idea, it is an
Yeah.
80-foot drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking.
It's gonna be some speed.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is probably like take the pulley and then weld on a like braking device
Mm-hmm.
that like wraps around the rope at the back end of it, and like if you press a button, it starts braking, and then weld on a handle to the pulley.
Okay. Give me a.
And I mean, probably if I really want to get into it and have the resources for it, just make like a magnet at the top that like you can just like throw the pulley and like it'll be like it'll lock into place or like
I
be
think
attracted to the magnet. I don't think I
that
have
is-
the resources
Yeah.
for that right now.
That is a thing you could look into later, though. That is a decent. You think you could probably pull that off. You just don't have the right like magnetic materials right now.
Yeah, and for now, I think I'm just gonna have a rope that extends all the way down to like the deck floor or something. So you can hold it from the bottom of the deck and like walk it the other way.
See, give me
Okay.
a tinker's tools, or mostly to see how long it takes you and like how well it is once you set it up.
Oh fuck! Can I fucking? Gosh, somebody should have blessed me before this.
Okay, I think you get. So the thing is, it's going to take some iterations, right? You don't nail it in one. You for sure make something that you think is functional, and you have you have Beacon demo it on that first day. Like you throw something together, you're like, yeah, nailed it. Beacon, it works. It at first it seems, but the braking mechanism doesn't quite work, and you hit the ground pretty hard.
Fun anecdote. Whenever I was learning how to zip line, I'm not the lightest guy around, and so I didn't start braking early enough. Smacked into the pole at the end of that zip line.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was padded. They padded it eventually, but it wasn't
Oh.
padded whenever I.
God.
And like the park was closed at the times before it had opened for the season, but like I hit that pole and I exclaimed a curse word very loudly, and it was heard all through the park.
Yeah. So use that as your, sort of pathos model for what just occurred to Beacon. Just
yeah.
boom, like loud enough that like everybody's coming up on deck to hear what happened, because
Yeah,
they can hear
there's-
your body hit.
Yeah, that's all that they do here. There is no scream or anything.
Yeah.
And they pull themselves up and very weakly just say, "It's not broken."
I did have a bruise on like my hip and thigh that was like a foot long and like half a foot wide.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, the next day then, which at this point, then you're getting reasonably close to Else, which is kind of your informal timeline for getting this thing done, because once you go sphere side, this top here won't be accessed. And I think you make something functional. And by that I mean it does what it says on the tin, and you try it a couple times. The problem is that on like the third one, when you get to the bottom, it like shudders a little bit in a way that's very disconcerting. Probably not actually that much to Beacon, but more to you, having like kind of seen it and watched like, come on, Sev.
I imagine that it's like two like rectangular brake pads at the top and bottom of the rope at the like at the back of the construction, and like the shuttering is the rope sort of like pulling out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh no, this is bad.
Yeah, so essentially from an engineer's perspective, Sev, you think it'll work. But you are not sure that it will work reliably without regular maintenance as it currently is. Because as you said, it like started to slightly disconnect with repeated uses, but you're not sure if it's heat or something else that's making that happen. This is lost on you, Beacon, because otherwise it shuddered a little bit, but I mean, you made it to the ground in what we would call like
the
a
fall.
round. Yeah.
Yeah.
You moved much faster, and it'll do essentially what we want it to do. There might just be fun involved. So yeah, if we can make that a long-term project, especially since you're about to have like sphere time to kind of sit and think about it, Sev. But yeah, unless there is anything else anybody wants to do between this point and when you reach Else. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Unless we're gonna stop off that else, after I work on that and like it's working, I'm probably going to go and try and start the long-term project of repairing that automaton.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably not. It's made clear to you that you'll be stopping at Omph on the way like back through at Else, but not on the way there. At least according to Mig's like current quote unquote mission parameters, as he puts them.
Yeah, then during our sphere time, I'll just be down in the workshop doing that.
Yeah, I think you and Mig have sort of been developing your kind of day to day, and true to his word, like Mig does not really use his room other than at some point when you were away from the room, he has moved most of his books, which were kind of precisely spread in their shelves around the length of the room. He has moved them all into one corner and sort of shifted the bed away from that corner. In other words, consolidating all of his stuff to give you the run of the rest of it. And yeah, so I guess to get a feel for the like general day to day for the rest of this, Beacon, you are, doing your duties. Dux, you're probably the primary point of contact with Beacon. Zeticus, do you spend your time kind of just walking around, or do you have any specific like projects or things you are trying to suss out?
No specific projects yet. He's still trying to get enough of a feel for the crew and the ship in general before before he tries to really get into anything else. So he will spend most of his time on deck towards the fore of the ship, just sort of watching the sailing and enjoying it.
Yep. And like I said, it's pretty lovely weather as far as it goes, and the sailing itself is pretty easy, which does lend itself to a lot of, more easy leisure time than you would. And another thing you've noticed as a very like seasoned traveler of naval vessels specifically, the UE and the AI that apparently runs it makes the navigation and kind of the sailing itself much easier and more precise than you thought that it could be. In other words, like you realize that your instructions to the UE are followed with a precision you do not normally expect from a helmsman, right? You're used to a helmsman being, a humanoid if you don't just, do it yourself to get it done right. But yeah, that's probably the major thing that you notice over the next days of travel.
Leviticus is extremely intrigued by the idea of somebody following his flight paths like exactly.
Yeah, and as far as
charted paths, because well, if I'm not having to correct a helmsman all the time, then this might even shave more time than we could normally do.
And I think to that point, like, if that is kind of the thing you start to notice based off of your, distance measuring as you're kind of working the figures out in your head, you definitely realize like, the instructions are being followed very, very precisely. You give a few test instructions like, change like, slight nautical term left or slight nautical term right. And it is followed with like exact precision. And yeah. Constance, you spend most of your time in the kitchen, or renovating the kitchen, I should say.
Yeah, organizing the storage room / my sleeping quarters. And
yes, you switch it around, right?
Yeah. And organizing the kitchen, trying probably early on unsuccessfully to come up with other recreation opportunities. And then Other than that, just sort of when I'm not doing those things, I'm just sort of making the rounds, checking to see if I can be of assistance to anyone else.
Mm-hmm. I think particularly receptive to that is like in your kind of waiting around. Dina tends to, when not being like, you know, your assistant in a cook capacity, she goes off to usually hang out with Helga or her sisters. One thing you all notice is that Thena doesn't seem to sleep very much. Not at all. Or if she does, it's mostly in the form of naps with one crew member or another. But I think on the last day before you get to Amphi, given your sort of general disposition, Mig takes you around and actually shows you the kind of checklist that Mig is running through. The full operational, like you check the lights, you check every minute thing of this. Considering Constance, I imagine, is an enthusiastic listener.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So yeah, as I said, the rest of the voyage passes without incident. Off to your right, I'll move you back to when you get the word via Mig that you're getting pretty close. And you can all see the city of Else off to your right. Amphi itself is kind of a craggier landmass, more akin to like what we'd associate with the Scottish Highlands. Most of it you can see, at least from where you can see, is these kind of craggy cliffs, and the city of Else actually rests at the kind of bottom of one of these cliffs, but seems to be chiseled out sort of in a crosswise pattern up the side of this craggy cliff. The other things you would either know or note is that the city planning and architecture of this place is clearly very ordered, very delineated. You can see there are very specific tiers and rings that sort of crisscross and hatch back up to the crag, and on the top, sort of almost close to the top of the actual highlands, is a very, very large citadel. And yeah, at this point, Mig calls for everybody to essentially go below deck. If you are still on deck, you can see off in the distance the enormous port. Functionally, the port is a little bit like Stargate. It is a few miles, or probably 1 to 2 miles off the coast of the actual city of Else. You could see there is a city that is sort of connected to the side of it. But before you see the city, you see this sort of shimmering, giant, sort of watery gateway, which spans quite a bit of distance, sort of getting bigger and bigger as you get closer. And yeah, Mig calls for everybody to go below deck to initiate sphere side protocols. And one of the first things you notice that when things are initiated, all of the hatches that lead to the above sort of seal with a metallic juddering. Additionally, throughout the perimeter of the vessel, you see portions of the hull sort of shimmer for a second and then go translucent so that you can actually see outwards. If anybody's in their rooms, you can see there's one to each room. There's also a rather large one that is in the recreational area, and another large one that is at the front of the dining room. And yeah, for those that specifically Constance, you have not been through a port yet. It takes a little while to actually get to the port post initiating the protocol. during this time, you can go to the front of the kitchen area and actually look out and see forward to
Mhm.
see it slowly getting larger and larger. When the vessel makes contact with this sort of shimmery, it almost seems to sort of push through it like water, but not like not a water like you've ever seen before, not a water like what sort of burbles out of the minders. And it slips for a moment, and it's almost like there's a bit of surface tension, and then it slides through. And in this sort of space, you see I guess the best description of it is probably here. That middle panel there, you can kind of see on the end of it your destination, which just appears to be a normal sort of blue ocean. But Constance specifically, give me a either wisdom or charisma saving throw with advantage.
All right. I am not blessed. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, you have been taught in some ways what to expect. Everybody else, you feel a slight shudder. For those of you that are interested to even watch anymore, like, you can gather and watch. If anybody wants to be in the kitchen, or rather in the dining area, Constance, you feel a shudder for a second, and your knees kind of go wobbly. And you feel your head sort of pound a little bit.
Oh dear.
All right, Constance.
Hmm. Oh. My first time through a portal. I've never heard such silence. I am fine now.
Believe you me, you will be hearing plenty of noise during the journey. There is considerably less places to go once we have converted to a sphere ship instead of the sea ship. Without the access to the decks, the rigging, all of that, we will see an uncomfortable amount of each other.
Oh.
Beacon kind of looks at Constance and almost shouting says, "What do you mean, silence?"
Well, there's a moment while passing through the portal where I'm cut off. I've trained for it for some time, but no amount of training equals the actual experience.
Ah. You hear nothing. I hear quite a lot.
Beacon, if
Yes.
these ships seem to bother you so much, why do you work on them?
These ships do not bother me. This ship speaks to me. It is unusual. And portal passage is brief. I have much of the universe to see.
That's a sentiment you don't hear very often anymore, not nearly often enough. One with which I agree wholeheartedly.
We've spent much time exploring, and these places are loud, but only briefly.
Well, Beacon, if you need a temporary respite from the noise, I may be able to help.
I am interested in hearing what you do not hear.
I will go over to a corner of the dining hall and I will spend 10 or 11 minutes and I will ritually cast silence. I will, after that's complete, I will turn to Beacon. I don't know if this will work, and if it does, it won't last long, but you may find a respite if you stand here.
We go and stand in the sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Does that
Yeah.
provide silence?
Yep. You do not hear it anymore. It is in fact silent.
When the 10 minutes is up, Beacon expresses gratitude for the reprieve.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. Anytime you need a break, just come find me.
We nod.
After another 5 to 6 minutes, you see the end. The portals on the sphere side do not have that same shimmery liquid. They seem to be more open. And in fact, if you go to the other side to look, in the recreation area out the back, you can see that shimmering sort of liquid line in the air of the portal behind you. The portal on sphere side, though, does not have any such tension or sort of cover. And so when you pass through into a dark, but seemingly normal sea-based world. Above, you could see a very large red sun, though it seems to be a little bit distant. After a moment, the ship sort of continues on. You can, Sev, from where you are, you at this point catch thrusters turning on as the basically magnetic engine for sphere side travel is starting to kick itself on. It travels, yeah. It travels probably another 10 to 15 minutes, and it diverts sort of sharply to the left. And Mig comes around and announces to everybody that liftoff is imminent. If you have vertigo, or if you have motion sickness or rapid motion problems, take a seat or, find somewhere to affix yourself. And then the UE takes off. Essentially, from what you can tell, the thrusters on the back, you can hear the actual hydraulic mechanism as they pivot to go down, and they fire off a whole lot of energy down, enough sufficient that you are also guessing that the gravity here isn't quite as strenuous as it is on the sea, because the ship lifts slowly off of the water, and then when it has achieved sort of like a sort of horizontal lift, it slowly ratchets itself vertical, which is very disconcerting for all of you for a moment, until another engine down set where you can see turns on and everything orients correctly. So essentially, like an artificial gravity asserts itself in here. And the ship takes off. Constance, this is all very interesting, especially because you've never seen, like, sort of from where you are, you can't yet see the stars. But as you're rising higher and higher and higher, you see the sort of air around you starting to thin. And then you see the full starscape for the very first time. You see the red sun in the distance, but from where you currently float, as the ship seems to like disengage thrusters and begin to float itself forward, you see the millions and millions of stars stretching as far as your eyes can see.
The descriptions and the illusions do not do it justice.
I think Thena pipes up and says, "Yeah, it's really pretty. It does. I mean, it gets a little boring. But it's nice to see it again."
Interesting. I can't imagine it would ever get boring.
Well, just do it like I don't know, like 20 times, and then maybe it'll be boring.
No.
No. I must
Oh.
agree with Beacon and Constance. I spent 5 years piloting ships out here. Navigating ships out here. It still is amazing. What you see out there, Miss Tina, is endless possibility. Every one of those stars could have a sphere around it, just like this one, and every one could be explored.
Oh.
Dux is just kind of like staring out at the stars with his jaw just dropped, and it's the quietest you've ever seen him. And then the ship shudders a little bit, and he like rushes off to go find somewhere to be sick.
Yeah, shit. I forgot this is your first time too, Duck. That's my bad.
You're fine.
Yeah, yeah, your stomach your stomach was left back on lactose. It's gonna take you a bit. All right. So, Zeticus, you wanted to chart a course to potentially be a little bit faster, right? Involving essentially slingshotting using a high gravity gas giant in between where you are and where you're going.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I am going full throttle as fast as I can get us there.
Uh-huh. Okay, I think again as another test, because at this point you're sort of trying to push it, right? Like, how good is this AI or whatever it is? How precise can it be? And yeah, it doesn't give you much in the way of acknowledgement. You relay the course to Mig. Mig nods. Everybody can feel the ship shift itself, and it takes off. The current journey, as far as you can tell, if your calculations are correct, is about 2.5 days, which is pretty good time in your humble opinion, considering you're trying to travel from the 8th planet to the 5th planet.
Yeah.
Without that gravity giant, you think it'd probably be quite a few more days, but with the current run, you think if anybody was keeping track, this could probably be a record. But yeah, I think you can spend as much time on that first day. You notice that the crew that are here all kind of, at least at first, go and retreat to their separate quarters. You can hear Heligbjorn more or less pass out and just sort of nap all day. Mig goes down and kind of relaxes for a few minutes only. You can tell Sev before he takes his clipboard out and begins going around doing double checking.
Oh, hey, wait, hold on. So we're Sphereside, right?
Yes.
Sweet. You got any, weapons on this thing for Sphereside, or is it just the big ballista?
We have a weapon, yes.
A weapon. Hopefully not the big ballista.
No.
Ah, sweet.
The
Okay.
UE can defend itself.
Oh, is it piloted by the UE?
Yes.
Sweet. All right, what's it do?
What do you mean?
Like, what projectile energy? Was it fire?
It is a projectile.
Oh. So like a big cannon?
No, not like a big cannon.
Like a railgun?
Closer, I think, if I take your meaning.
Like super accelerated tungsten. By way of magnetic force.
Then yes, very similar.
Sweet. Can you shoot it?
Can you shoot it? No.
No. Can I see it?
Unfortunately, no.
Where is it? It just built in?
He points down to the floor.
Restricted area.
Yes.
Again. Then how does it load? Do you just like load the magazine every time we restock or what?
You see Mig kind of shift from foot to foot a little bit. Sphereside concerns are handled by the UE.
Okay, all right, okay, fine. Well, if you come back and there's just a bunch of paper everywhere, you know why I've been asking you questions. All right, see ya!
Yes, do not leave paper lying around. Skrelk will eat it.
Aren't I just feeding Skrelk? Hey, UE, can I leave paper?
There is no response. Mig, you see Mig like crank ahead to listen, and then just shrug.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that as a no. All right, see you later. Skrelk. She like goes into the room, slams the door, and without saying another word.
Yeah. Okay, so oh god. Yeah, we'll so you want to make a homunculi out of your little AI parts. Not AI parts, robot parts, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. So after the first day, you have about a day and a half. What does everybody do with their a little bit more boring, like Sphereside day? I guess we'll start in order. Beacon, do you just, retire to your room?
We observe, unobtrusively, and rest because we've not been doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely find a suitable chair in like either the recreation room or in the kind of dining area that is nearby, but unobtrusive and out of the way.
Yeah, the body sits down and looks like they're dead to the world, like head back on the couch, mouth open, arms crossed, snoring. But the mist wanders the ship and doesn't
Mhm.
talk much.
I think every time you encounter kind of during this voyage Skrelk is fucking terrified and like just goes like Skrelk makes this kind of loud pitch coo screech and then just runs like darts as fast as it can, and you, having seen all of the ways it flees, notice that there is these built-in panels in various rooms for it to slip in and out of the walls easily,
Interesting.
almost like little doggy doors.
I kind of wish that this mechanic was actually smoke, because I'd love to just go and explore that. But technically, I have form.
Technically, yeah, form. What about you, Dux? Or actually, Constance first. We'll go in order.
Constance is spending a fair amount of time preparing slightly more complex meals and perhaps encouraging a little more strongly than before that people engage in either cornhole or dice or cards or anything to get people to sort of hang out in the mess hall, particularly Zadicus, whom they will entice to tell as many stories about traveling to various spheres as possible.
Something that takes very, very little in the way of convincing, since Zadicus doesn't have a whole lot to do while navigation is, since navigation is largely taken care of. Unless something comes up, he is that's probably where he's found anyway.
And
Yeah, I think the only time that you are taken away from that is when you know that this sort of slingshot maneuver is going to be happening, and you go to sort of observe, and sure enough, it is executed with a like perfect mathematical precision per your like estimates. Sorry about that. Continue, Constance.
yeah, no, Constance's interest in these stories, whether they be about specific previous travels, experiences with spheres in general, or just the ins and outs of navigation. Constance's interest and enthusiasm does not wane.
I think Thena is right there along with Constance, avidly listening to all of your tales.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, every now and then Constance will get up and run into the kitchen and come back with like 10, 15 minutes later with new snacks prepared.
I think the snacks do lure Helig for sure.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
Mig doesn't ever seem Mig doesn't ever seem to stop for any form of like recreation.
Mm-hmm.
And Patch has joined you for most of this time.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be like leaning at a kind of 90-degree angle directly over the top of Thena and just watching Zadicus avidly. Nez has not made any sort of appearance yet. What about you, Dux? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I was just about to make up something story-wise. Go ahead.
I mean, you can if you like. Do you got one?
No. I was just gonna make it up as I went.
Okay, look, we'll do that eventually. I'll hold you to either pre-scripted or just bullshit it as you go and make something real. All right.
We'll circle back around. Since I'm technically Z anyway.
Yeah. Dux, what does your stomach settles with certainly after a night of sleep, although it is odd for you, especially the kind of like to sleep with the gentle hum of the engine instead of the sort of sloshing and kind of constant noise of the sea. This noise you're noticing is a lot more like consistent and monotonous than kind of the sea and like the sort of waves are. So it's probably a little disconcerting.
At first, like initially, once I start to recover, I go and spend a fair amount of time in a bath. Like, I create a lot of water and then submerge myself in it and just kind of hang out in the bath for a while.
I
Eventually,
think
go ahead.
there is a like when you request the bathing area, there is a portion. I'll move you back to here. A portion kind of opposite to where sort of opposite or like catty corner to the lift in cargo and storage is a kind of like, for lack of a better word, wash closet of some kind. Like it has a sort of like tub in it for washing. It seems to be slowly fed with water. At least as far as you can tell, if water like sloshes out, it seems to correct and fill a little bit more.
After I am a little more comfortable, Dux is gonna spend some time. He's gonna put together like a triathlon of like gaming like tournament. So like cornhole, like checkers, and like whatever other recreational games we have, and just like build like a large tournament bracket with like different categories and all that stuff.
Yeah, so you're like in your quarters in your hammock with your with a little like notepad that you borrowed from Mig, like trying to scribble your bracket, like shaking your head, crumple up a page, throw it on the floor. Skrulk grabs the paper and disappears into a panel as you're like sort of humming to yourself, figuring this out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. All right. We'll get to that in a second. Sev, you're trying to make a what with the burnt out robot that was cleft in twain?
If I can,
Uh-huh.
I want to try and make a homunculus out of it, out of the core and whatever parts I got.
Hmm.
If I can't, then that's fine. But I just had an idea.
Let
Is that
me
like
look.
the homunculus like artificer infusion?
No, I can just make one of the components. Damn.
Go ahead and give me a tinkering tools check.
All right.
can
Come
run it.
on. Come on. Please. Fuck me.
So
Somebody should just have bless on me the whole time, guys.
so you the you're looking at this thing, and certainly the problem of half of its torso, well, rather its whole torso being cleaved in a sort of crosswise fashion is an issue. But you sort of like hotwire it in a fashion back together. Unfortunately, this means that you have to remove like most of the torso. Um, so it's kind of at the moment like there's like a little tiny section of torso with a with a head on top of it, and the arms on the side of it don't work all that
Oh,
well.
no. Cody, you misunderstand. I'm trying to
Uh-huh.
scrap this bad boy and make something tiny.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah, because the homunculus can't be it-sized. It's like a medium creature. The homunculus is tiny.
yeah, I think okay, completely scrapping it apart. With a 15, I don't think you quite pull off something that, like, it.
Damn.
You pull off something closer to a toy. You think you could probably work on it later, but right now, like, you can, like, verbally give it an instruction to, like, walk around in a circle and to, like, clap, and it can do a very, like, minute task like that. But you try to give it like a more complicated task, and yeah, it doesn't know. It like tries and then just seems to sort of stop and stand still until you.
She is going to put this, like, she's gonna try and find like a hiding place for this because nobody can fucking see this ever.
Yeah, you just like get like a mug and just put it in a mug and then put the mug upside down on one of Mig's bookshelves, just in the corner of the room.
You have guidance, no? Why?
Just because you can give it to yourself.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of skill
Wait,
checks.
I'm sorry, I can?
Uh-huh.
If you have guidance,
Guidance is a cantrip, yeah.
And
and
it's
you,
an artificer.
Nope.
Cantrip.
No, I don't have guidance. Sorry, guys. I
mean-
didn't know you could give that to yourself. Fuck me.
with
I
your
mean,
tool,
yeah.
you could get it.
What do you mean? Oh shit.
Just saying.
No. That's fair. Oh well, next time.
I think you can. At least I'd have to check.
Yeah, it's any spell list.
Mhm.
I forgot I
Yeah.
had my fucking tool. Damn,
So I
need
think really what's happened with the last two is you thought like you're kind of big for your britches, thanks to your understanding of the engine being so complete. You're like, okay, I got this shit, and you don't use your like full tool set because you're like, I could just like hot rig this shit. I got this, and you're like, okay, okay, I'm good, but I'm not that good yet. We'll move on to Zadekist.
Well, you see, I figured I'd go through the spheres in numerical order, since it makes perfect sense. I mean, there's so many out there to see. I might as well just start with the first sphere. That's where we live, no problem. And then move on to the second sphere.
It does sound like a wonderful way to stay organized.
Make sure I don't miss anything. I thought about just going straight out to the galactic edge, but, well, given the portals can go anywhere to any sphere, there's not like people are exploring from 1 to 2 to 3 in the first place, so, well, I might as well. The most peculiar planet we ever saw, I think, might have been in the the third sphere. You would think it was a gas giant, like the one that we just slingshot off. Big balls of gas, lots of pressure, crush you if you go inside, but no. This was a normal planet that simply had an atmosphere that was 4 or 5 times larger than the planet itself. It was a massive gravity well, and the life there was not very advanced. You had these giant... It almost looked like a bulbous mushroom. It'll pick up a mushroom off the table. But imagine it's hollow up here, and it just carves out the top of the mushroom. And it's... They fall. They spend their whole life falling down the center of this planet, this gravity well, and to ensure that their young survive, when he just knocks the mushroom from underneath, and it just bits go everywhere. They spray their spores as far up as they can, so that those spores can go up and develop, and there's thousands of them, but most of them are going to die because they have them. There are. Well, you're not going to believe me because I'm going to call it a gravity whale. It's not a whale. You didn't believe me about the sky whales. Why believe me about the gravity whales? But much like a whale, they filter feed. They filter on these spores, but they're hunted. This is, like I said, a giant gravity well. So moving up takes lots of energy, and he will go on and on and on.
I think I know what you're referencing.
Oh my god, if you could tell me what it is. I have remembered this made-up ecosystem.
It's Alien
For-
World on Netflix.
Oh my
It's
god!
the first one with the like it's slightly different than what, but it's
I'm
with
remembering
the
these giant like bulbous air sacs, and they spray their young up, and so that they can slowly grind down. The predators look like kind of basically like sharks, and they
yeah,
actually have the energy to move up. I have literally not seen this
and
thing in
the ones that
20 or more years, and it's been in my brain.
and yeah, the ones that are like the ones that are that can feed they are like light enough to just sort of float on top of the like really dense atmosphere. So if they go down to the surface, they die because the atmosphere just crushes them.
I
But
don't
yeah,
think this is it.
excellent. If that's unless I'm referencing
I'll look
one
it up
that
later.
stole from what you're talking about,
Could be,
which is very
could
awesome.
be, because this was like
Yeah.
an educational video talking
Oh
about like evolution and convergent evolution and
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this
ecological
just
niches and all that.
yeah. Give me you can have an inspiration for that. That was impressive just off off the dome.
It's lived in my head for years. I don't know if
Like
that's really off the dome, but I
I'm
appreciate
glad
it.
you got to exercise it then. But yeah, I think the existing crew members definitely gather around kind of to listen to your story. Brim at some point and Lim both come out. For them, you could tell like they seem to slowly adjust to working on the same schedule as everyone else, which means that there's just like a section of time this morning where Brimness is particularly pissed off and kind of just glowering and like chugging coffee and tea. Lim, on the other hand, seems like her usual congenial self. And yeah, I think this day like passes in pretty high spirits. Sev, do you eventually go up and join the rest of them, or do you?
Yeah, I'll
down here?
probably go up and join them because she is fucking furious that she screwed up so badly.
Yeah. So I think it's a bit odd, especially for those of you that haven't sort of experienced trying to adjust to a night and like day cycle in the absence of any of those things. But I think you get the hang of it easily enough. Constance, I think a lot of your measures to sort of counteract the sort of humdrum that being trapped inside is putting on everybody are pretty effective. And Ducks, the the three events you have proposed are cornhole, uh, cornhole, checkers, and dice. Essentially,
Absolutely. And I've tried to set up this bracket to where, like, you know, I gauge everyone's, like, aptitude at these things so that, like, you know, someone's not going to get eliminated unfairly before they're able to, like, prove themselves. There's a loser's bracket, too. You know, there's ample opportunity because it's a limited, you know, we don't have 16 people here, you know, so, uh, but yeah, then I go around and start trying to get people interested in it.
yeah. I think Limnus is interested. Brim just is gonna watch. Thena is very excited to participate, though Constance would know she has been practicing diligently, but she has not improved very much on cornhole, which worries you somewhat.
We'll set up some handicaps.
Some like
Anyone
a
who's
big.
going against Athena is at a severe disadvantage.
I'm imagining you making a giant like funnel or like a backboard that like you just throw it and it misses and it sort of rattles it into the hole.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Fuck. How the fuck to do this? Who all wants to participate in this thing? We're doing this. You've made this real.
Beacon does, but Beacon is going to go and hang out with Brim while Beacon participates.
Mm-hmm. It is a companionable silence. In fact, Brim seems to very much appreciate the fact that you came over, sat down near her, and then proceeded to not speak overly much.
Yeah, the echo just sits like legs stretched out, arms crossed, and observes silently. But body will participate in a game.
Okay, whoever wants to participate in cornhole, give me a fucking, what would this be? Like a ranged attack, unless you're trying to cheat with magic.
I'm not gonna try and cheat with magic. What the fuck? Who'd ever accuse me of that?
Yeah, whoever wants to cornhole, throw like a like 1d20 plus your, I guess, dex score. I'm gonna guess
Dex
only
score
Zadicus
or
might actually.
Dex mod.
Rather, yeah, dex mod.
Okay.
Zadicus, you're probably honestly proficient in this.
With
Oh, crumbs!
with
Oh,
with
sorry.
Gene
That's
Max?
wrong.
No, but this is analogous to like a dart or like some kind of parlor game that you have engaged in.
Constance is making absolutely no attempt at subterfuge with this and will certainly go to a more traditional method if confronted. But until confronted, I will be using Mage Hand to. Until corrected is simply a misunderstanding of the rules by Constance.
Yeah. I mean, if nobody, because I don't think any of the existing crew is going to say much of anything about it. So if any of you are going to call on the fact that what does it look like again?
Looks like a little octopus.
So if I see Constance do that, can I just affix the beanbag to my like a crossbow bolt and fucking shoot it in the hole?
Sure, escalate.
All right, I'll make an attack.
Dux is going to use a combination of now.
Dux is gonna cheat on his own game.
It's not cheating. It's not cheating. It's being blessed.
It's being
Like,
creative.
Gods are on my side. And he'll just start like using guidance for himself and Thena. I'm assuming guidance is the one here and not bless because like this is a skill check, not an attack roll.
Not an attack roll unless you're Seb.
So real quick, Zadicus, do you escalate because you threw it once normal and then immediately after everybody started fucking around?
No. I have no real way to escalate other than using like steady aim. But that's again for attack rolls, but
look, I'll give it to you here.
Constance is having
I'm fine with it.
Constance is having such a good time that to Zadicus, Thena, and the version of Beacon that is participating, Constance will bless them.
Okay, god damn it, Thena, let's do that. Okay, so there's what, 2 blesses on Thena?
There's a blessing of guidance.
It doesn't stack, yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay, that's good. Well, it took a 2 to a 10, which isn't nothing. She I think for the first one, just completely like you try to like make it so that there's a backboard so it can bounce, but it doesn't even get close to the backboard. Like it just falls very short. And surreptitiously, everybody gives magical bonus to to her on the next go, and she throws it, and it like lands on the board. It doesn't go in the hole, and she like cheers, and is very enthusiastic and excited. Let's see what Helig gets. Yeah, that checks out. Helig throws the first one and misses, and then leans down to probably to Thena and says, "Okay, come here." Lifts her up onto Helig's shoulder and says, you can hear her mutter like, "Okay, how far? Many feet? Many? Okay, a few feet away. Okay, hang on." She throws it, misses the second one. Thena like reaches in and whispers something in her ear. And you see Helig like adjusts her body slightly. And given how like tall she is, she doesn't like underhand lob it. She basically just throws it straight into the hole. Meanwhile, all of you start to attach it to a fucking crossbow, Acme style. Sure, it goes in. So that bless is added on. I think, yeah, technically the winner then is Zadicus, followed by Sev, followed by Helig, followed by
Um,
hold on.
Yeah,
Cody, I have a
actually
21.
Yeah,
an
shit,
extra
you
D4
do.
on that.
Sorry, it was
just
for whatever
just
reason.
kind
It
of
was that-
deftly.
yeah.
Right. Do I need to roll anything using the mage hand?
Oh fuck me. Never mind. constant win. Because there's literally nothing other than just gently dropping it into the hole each time. Followed by Zadicus, followed by Beacon, followed by Sev, followed by Helig. What did you get, Dux? Oh,
13.
in last two places are Dux, followed by Thena closely after. And then I think, yeah, everybody is like pretty enthusiastic moving into checkers. Pretty immediately Helig resigns. He's like, "No, that's probably fine. I do not like have the whole thing. It is fine." Athena says, "I don't really know how to play checkers. I'll wait.
That means we'll be an even match, Thena.
Oh my god.
Dux proposed checkers, not knowing how to play checkers.
It's what was available.
Okay, fuck it. Everybody. Give me a. I guess just intelligence check. Unless you're trying to cheat. If you're trying
I
to cheat,
what? How would you cheat?
sleight of hand, probably. Just shuffle pieces around when nobody's looking.
Oh, I'm gonna try and use guidance on myself.
Uh-huh.
And are you fucking kidding me? That's my stat. It's literally my stat. And I rolled a 4. I rolled a 5 plus 4 plus 3. Jesus Christ! I got a 12 on an intelligence check. This should like statistically never happen.
So, Zadicus, are you participating?
Yeah, I am in fact a master of tactics, but
You give me advantage.
was gonna say,
Oh fuck
if
yeah!
I'm up against Thena, I'm gonna just go ahead and throw. Like,
Dux and Thena are on the bracket together.
You can fuck yourself, Ted.
oh my god! Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
So Athena and Dux play each other in the first round. I think Athena doesn't really get how to play, and neither do you, Dux. But you pick it up pretty fast, and Athena sort of bows out.
Good game. Good game.
Ah, fuck. The next is between, I suppose, Sev and Constance. You go into it pretty confident, Sev. You're like, okay. You like roll your shoulders. You're like, okay, I'm smart. I've played chess. I've played chess. I've played checkers. I got this shit. Constance just methodically destroys you. And like in a fairly quick and easy fashion as well.
I like chess better.
Well, thank you for letting me win.
Sev sort of like looks around for a second, knowing full well that Constance absolutely shit on her and outmaneuvered her on every move, and it's like, well, yeah, no problem.
Very kind of you. I'm having fun in the
Oh, you're being
triathlon.
kind. Yeah, it's super fun. She'll just get up and leave. Thank you for the good game. Sorry.
I think what ends up being like the premier match in this case is Beacon versus Zadakis. As the two like are doing it, it's like when you watch like chess grandmasters at like the speed they're both moving, just like taking pieces from each other. And it comes down to like one of the last few pieces where Zadakis pulls it out and manages to beat.
I actually think this is more akin to like a chess game, being that we both only have a +1 to int.
Yeah.
like the pacing of it is incredibly slow, but it goes on for a very long time.
Fair enough. Yeah, it
That's
just
very good.
they both spend like legitimately minutes just studying the board. Zadakis gets up and walks around in circles, scratching his chin.
staring straight into Beacon's face, like finger on piece, moves it, stares, moves it back.
Occasionally, when Beacon doesn't move, Zadakis mutters some nonsense about like, "Ah, yes, that's the Jester's Gambit, of course."
Sev will lean
shit.
over to Dux and be like, "Hey, what's the next game?"
Liar's Dice.
Oh, thank fuck. Luck.
I think after like 5 minutes, Athena is like bored and is just doing something else. But does remark like, "We should probably get like a second board when we can." And then the match finally ends, and then Zadakis goes on to play Constance. And I think similarly, and there's like another like grand strategy, like 10-minute game of checkers between the two of you. But Zadakis eventually pulls ahead. And Zadakis, you are declared the winner of checkers in this triathlon. The Dux is there a name for this triathlon? Have you like dubbed it?
I don't think he thought that far.
Fair enough.
He'll task Athena with trying to come up with a fun name.
Hey, Toby, what year is this again?
1 second. For whatever reason, I do not have it immediately written down.
It's okay. It's not important to whatever you're doing. It's purely for a bit.
I'll give it to you for a bit, eventually. I thought I had it in an easy to get to place, but apparently I do not.
Hey, could I write it down?
It's 326 AP.
Thank you. It is 326 AP, so 326 after port.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, dice. Would that be a charisma skill?
Convince me.
Well, particularly the game I'm thinking of, Liar's Dice. You know, you
True.
juggle up dice, and like your
Okay,
job
yep.
is to convince people that you have something you don't, or that you
Ye-
don't have something you do.
Yes, I think true. Okay, you've convinced me. The options for this game are either to do a charisma check or possibly like probably deception or persuasion, or to do a just pure luck.
Or like dice proficiency if you have like that particular game
Yeah.
proficiency, but I do not.
If you do have dice proficiency, yeah, that also very applicable. God damn.
All right. Are you kidding me? Deception!
Beat by the -3.
Oh god.
Bullshit.
You die with Beacon.
How can I be less good at deception than fucking Beacon?
Beacon
I
has a
think,
very good poker face.
Yeah, I guess so.
okay. So yeah, at this point it is only you all playing all kind of at the same time. I think your deception sort of flub is you kind of fumble the cup a little bit, and everybody catches like a quick flash of one of your dice and realizes when you try to lie that you are completely bullshitting. Beacon, I think you eventually get knocked out purely by sort of losing the energy to maintain the deception for long enough.
It's more like it's not convincing.
Yeah. Look, it takes a
it-
lot of energy to be convincing for that long.
Yeah.
And you did really good at the start. It's just diminishing returns. Constance, you hang in there pretty long just because you have a tremendous poker face.
Right. I mean,
and
I
you're
think
not-
it's a combination of I've got a tremendous poker face, and the loss boils down to like anyone that sticks with their story for any amount of time. I'm like, oh, yes, absolutely. Of course, that's the case. Not fully grasping how the game works. I mean,
I
Zadok
think-
has told me all these wonderful stories. Why would I not believe him now?
That's the thing. Sadicus doesn't lie about his dice. He just gets some good rolls.
Same for ducks, actually.
Would lie about my dice, but I don't need to.
Unfortunately, in this case, with the guidance on ducks,
Magical guidance.
yeah, with magic bullshit, ducks manages to to pull
I
out.
just got
and win.
really lucky, The fate decided that die that was almost a 1 became a 6 at the last second.
You do know that we can see you waving your hands, and we do hear the magic words. I'm just saying, we do see and hear that. Well played.
Fair,
Well played.
fair.
I wish I could do that.
Oh, are we going to have a hand waving contest?
I was just trying to mimic, whenever you're on a boat, the sway of the ocean helps like tip the die in favor of those, I was just mimicking the environment that I'm used to.
Are we going to have a hand waving one now? I think I'd be good at that one.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Let's see
what are
your
the
best
rules?
wave. No rules. Give me a wave, and the group will vote. It'll be a whoever gets the loudest cheer wins.
Yeah, Athena immediately starts waving enthusiastically.
There's uproarious cheering from Dux, at least. And Dux does not cheer for anyone else.
Yeah, Athena is followed immediately by Patch, who just starts waving enthusiastically and like making little like shoo 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 shoo.
Dux
Constance,
kind of like
Constance is enthusiastically cheering, just as loud for literally everyone.
Who else engages in a waving competition?
Nah.
I can't. There's no way I can go up against that, Athena. I forfeit.
Constance might be the proverbial record scratch in this contest because she takes the glove off her left hand and there are just 3 like octopus tentacles like waving up in the air.
Yeah, I think everybody.
Points for style, but that is still a little unnerving.
Oh no, there are nerves in these.
Yeah, you see Patch stops waving like mid-wave, just
Sev will unlatch her hand from the gauntlet and wave with the gauntlet and her normal hand.
Nice.
Athena claps very enthusiastically, and so does Patch.
Beacon says out loud, "We could wave all 4 of our hands together, but that feels unfair."
Sev just sort of looks at Beacon like just sad. Aw.
You see Patch cranks his head to the side as if considering something, and all of Patch's 4 arms split into 2 additional like articulated arms with like tools and things, and all of them sort of just wave asynchronously. Athena applauds very enthusiastically. But yeah, I suppose Athena is very likely crowned the winner here. Unless everybody very enthusiastically cheered for Sev and her good trick.
This whole like setup of the volume being the decider, it's easy for Dux to influence the outcome.
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, excellent bizarre game triathlon you have constructed. And yeah, I think the next sort of day and a half passes uneventfully, although the mood has been sort of kept pretty high between the good food and the sort of more social activity than clearly what the existing crew is used to. Everybody is in pretty great spirits as you reach Gork. Gork is Mig will start to like reel out facts about it as you get close. It is a planet that is tidally locked. Essentially, one side is constantly facing towards the red glow of the sun, whereas the other side is shrouded in complete darkness. Most of the settlements here exist in this very thin band of the most sort of habitable space in a ring around the planet's center. A very slight wobble on the planet's axis subjects the settlements sort of in that band to a 3 to 4 hour light and dark cycle. Your contact that you are going to be heading to is in an outpost called C45 Myco. And there you're looking for a man who is a Myconid named, I will copy paste, Pol Ashan. And yeah, as you sort of like enter into atmosphere, this place has more atmosphere than Lectos did. So there's for those especially that have not experienced it before, there is an incredibly loud shuddering as the ship is entering atmosphere and taking on heat. And you are probably alarmed until you catch the others are not panicking in a similar way. And yeah, you eventually travel down to the surface. In this particular band, you can see from where you are the very distinct sort of light side and dark side. The light side is there doesn't seem to be much growing there. There's a lot of red, sort of rusty seeming soil. Whereas on the dark side, you see what appears to be a very dense forest of mushroom trees that are gently glowing with a sort of phosphorescent fluorescence. And you eventually touch down, and a hatch opens up in the cargo area. And Mig looks to everyone and says, "If you would like to follow me to our contact, otherwise you may stay here, or you may investigate in a limited capacity."
I mean, I'm pretty interested in seeing these mushroom pigs.
Yeah, do they need to be unloaded?
You are here to load them up onto the boat, so you don't have them yet.
Oh, right. Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had it backwards. Yep.
So yeah, they'll need to be herded on more than likely.
Okay. Beacon will volunteer to assist in that.
Yeah, I'll go with the party to meet the contact.
Mm-hmm. As you guys are starting to leave, pretty quickly, there is a very strange looking, what appears to be a normal-ish humanoid, except that his head is very similar to a smaller version of the bioluminescent, taller mushroom caps that you could see off on the dark side. And accompanying him is a minder. He walks up with a wave and says, "Yes, you are here for the shipment."
That we are.
He nods. Beacon, give me a perception check.
Holy shit!
Oh boy.
Okay.
Finally.
So you catch because you've got a little bit. First off, Mig is trying to be sneakier, but Mig is contacting this other minder, and you realize they are trading a large amount of information. Because you can't hear the distinct elements of it, but you can tell it is essentially a transfer of information happening very, very rapidly, and it's kind of in like an info dump sort of way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't get the constituent elements even with a natural, but you know exactly what they're doing because you can almost hear like all the words just slammed into one word, like subjectively, right? You're like right on the cusp of understanding, but it's It's not in the language you speak exactly. But yeah, that is what the two of them are doing as they appear to be not paying attention to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, Polishan will like rub the back of his head and say, "Well, there's been a bit of a problem with your shipment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and show you the Sporn grounds." He turns and starts walking away. You notice everybody else is catching on that the two minders are not actually acknowledging each other, not looking at each other, are studiously seem to be ignoring each other. As you pass through this village, it is a very curious like mix of a sort of frontier style living, laced with basic sphere tech standards of living. It's probably pretty rustic looking, but there is the modern amenities of a sphere side settlement in the sense that there is like electricity, there are street lights. The ground here is a sort of strange pallid, soft, like spongy material. And you see besides the Myconid, the primary inhabitants of this place are these what appear to be small, even small by kobold standard, green kobolds. Some of them are sort of a bright hue of purple. They are, going about their lives side by side with these Myconid individuals, and you can see some of the kobolds have growths on them, although that is not the standard necessarily. And Polishan takes you like kind of through their main thoroughfare, out a little ways, onto what looks like a more open area, and you can see what is clearly a pen, in that it has four sides. But you notice very quickly that one of the sides, sort of bordering the forest, uh, or bordering the side where the forest is on, has been repaired with what is definitely a patch job. And you also notice there is a distinct, for a settlement this, or rather for a like enclosure this big, there is not a great many Gork pigs here. He sort of rubs the back of his head and says, "Well, we had a spore sweep a few weeks ago, and must have made a weak spot in the fence. A couple nights back, something scooped in through that weak spot, took a couple of the pigs, ran off."
All right, so we go and get them back.
Assuming
Mig-
they haven't been consumed. I am. What is the chances that these pigs are even alive?
Oh, very poor. Non-existent, likely, or yeah, not great.
So we have arrived here to retrieve a shipment, which we cannot retrieve because you have lost it.
Well, yes, that's technically true. We're about 6 animals short. That's gonna bring you down to 4.
You have lost 60% of our expected cargo.
Like I said, that's about the long and short of it. I'm expect probably won't be paid quite as much. Mig will like do his weird like clearing his throat with no throat sound. The good news is we will not be docked in pay for falling short. Our employer likely will be, but we specifically are not liable. Given that our current mission is somewhat time sensitive and we do not understand the nature of the biomes outside of this place, I would suggest that we take what we are given and move on. Polishan kind of sheepishly rubs the back of his head again and says, I mean, if you're thinking you want to go out and maybe find what got him, I could confer with the council. Maybe we could get a bounty for the head. Well, maybe stem, might be stigma of whatever took him. But well, that's gonna take a fair few days, I think.
Yeah. Also, granted, I don't really want, I don't really know if that concerns us, the employees, but less chances of us getting reemployed by the same person if we just give them bad cargo. Just a thought.
Can I get any sense as to whether or not Porishan here is telling us the truth about these Gork pigs being taken?
Give me an insight. I think even with you don't seem any. He doesn't seem to be telling any falsehoods. There's a bit of sheepishness to him that you suspect is because some of this may not just be like a fault of the village, but he might have some more specific culpability in this fuck up. But beyond that, you don't get any like sort of criminal or any more malicious
Gotcha.
kind of intent from him. He is possibly hedging, but that may just be because this is his specifically fuck up.
Also, are you sure some sort of creature took him? I mean, some person might have taken him.
His head kind of cranes back to look, and he says, well, I reckon it could be a person, but whatever it was, tore the gate apart pretty good.
Wait, didn't you say the gate was left open?
No, we think the spore sweep made a weak spot, and that something big came in and just ripped it right open.
Hmm.
I want to look for like footprints or some like. I'm probably gonna call over somebody who's like good at investigation.
Yeah.
And suggest that they look for footprints to see if anything anything has been in and out of there.
Yeah, you can go over and look at the area where this sort of patch job has occurred. Anybody wants to roll me something? Go for it.
What are we rolling here?
Depends on how you want to examine it. If you want to look at like the gate, you could potentially do an investigation. If you want to see if you can get some kind of tracks out of it, survival maybe.
I'll look around for some tracks.
Mm-hmm. With a D4. I believe, right, Seb?
Yes.
So you are immediately noticing the ground here is very strange. Like I said, even out here, it is sort of that spongy, almost the consistency of like the top of a mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, he said this happened a few days ago, which checks out as far as you can tell. Because like you sort of scrape a line just to see what the ground does, right? Because you need to get like a baseline. And it starts to slowly fold itself back together. Considering this, you start to look around for something like sort of the aftermark of it pulling it together. And you do see like sort of a crosshatch of these thin white lines, as if something with a lot of distinct pieces or lines or something scraped its way across kind of towards the middle of the field and then scraped its way back out through this sort of wrecked area.
It appears whatever it was came in this way and left that way. It's difficult for me to tell what kind of animal it might be, both being unfamiliar with the local creatures, as well as the way the landmass reacts here.
Have I heard of what hunts gork pigs?
Give me a. That'd be survival or history, either one.
Nature? I mean, I have
Nature,
history.
yeah, nature's good. I mentioned everyone but the one. Okay, I got there, but the one that's for this thing. Yes.
It's 14.
So you have heard of carnivorous, or I mean, carnivorous is a strange term here, right? But you have heard of like an apex, like some of the apex hunting species of this place, which are predominantly plant, and that there are at least a handful of hunting sort of like megafauna, or rather megaflora, for lack of a better word, that could have done this. Once Kansa sort of points it out to you, yeah, you're not exactly sure what, but there is a vague impression you have, like, okay, that is, sort of like on a brochure you would hear about, like, yeah, beware the like megaflora. Don't go onto the dark side of the planet without a proper guide or protection.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't leave us a whole lot to go on. There's a number of carnivorous predatory. Well, is it really predatory herbivore? I mean, look, the taxonomy here is a little confusing. The point is, there are a number of species that could have dragged our cargo off onto the dark side of the moon.
Well, if it was like a animal thing, I don't think we're giving them back. And that was kind of my goal. So
It may be a case worth pursuing in the future. Polishan, you said it will take several days to confer with your council, yes? Well, yeah, probably, maybe 4 or 5. We're gonna meet a couple days.
Well, in that case, let us take the gork pigs that are here and perform our delivery. And then, depending on what the bounty is, we can weigh it as another potential job.
Mig sort of nods. That sounds reasonable. He turns to the other minder for the first time. And like a look passes between them. This minder doesn't say anything. Mig says, "All right, we will be informed when you have come to a conclusion. Simply inform." And Mig gestures to the minder, and Polishan again sort of like scratches the back of his head. Okay, well, yeah, I'll talk it into them. Maybe come on back and do the job. You see his kind of like head swivels to sort of look around at the group of you. Mig shrugs. Yeah, well,
Come on, someone with charisma can say something, I'm sure.
well, let's go on and get you your 4 Gork pigs. I'll send in for free a few sporin feeds, so you can maybe get a few more on the way, depending on how long you take.
And there is nowhere else that we might acquire other Gork pigs. You don't have any others that are perhaps for a later shipment, then you might be able to refill our stock and hopefully acquire more in the meantime.
Maybe another vendor down the road.
Well, I mean, I guess you could go try to just like ask around at some of the other settlements, but we don't really do a lot of exporting here. This was kind of supposed to be I'm told by the council it was supposed to be like a special test sort of thing. You see his shoulders are at this point like slumped as if gravity's slowly pushing him down. It didn't go so great, but
Well, I mean, if these are the only ones you have, then how are you supposed to make more?
I mean, you see he like gestures to sort of the other side of the pasture where there are 4 of the 8 remaining. He's essentially planning to offer you half of them. I mean, I could maybe part with 1 or 2 more, but I might get in more trouble for that. We need these ones for, our own eating. And
Poor
Well,
Sean.
how long do they take to spore? I mean, you can just keep the feed and we can just take the pigs.
well, they take a little while, and especially after they spore, it takes them quite a bit to spore again.
Poor Sean.
He looks to you, Constant.
How many people knew of this special test?
Oh, it's just me and the council, and my friend here. He points to the minder, who just nods.
Interesting. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. So, I guess I'll just we'll round up these 4 here, and if you help me, we can quickly get them up on your ship. I'll give you some feed. Mig sort of nods. That will be acceptable. And yeah, he takes out a kind of like long like staff with a sort of prod at the end of it and starts gently corralling them. The Gork pigs themselves look like, I guess for lack of a word, like a normal pig or hog, with the exception of them being green and having slightly like weird growths spotting their hides.
Now, Mig, this is our first mission.
Indeed.
Certainly we can do better than acceptable. Come on now, Guy, you can certainly part with 6 of those.
Give me a persuasion check. I mean, could you? Okay. If I do that though, maybe you come back and maybe see about doing the job of figuring out what got him.
Yeah, we'll maybe come back and maybe see about doing a job to see what got him.
Okay. That's gonna this is gonna get me in real shit. And like, you can
Sounds
take
like
him.
the shepherd should have probably washed his flock a little closer.
Yeah, I know. I've been lectured good, long, and hard now. But okay, just you know what? Just take. We got 2 left. we'll be able to restock maybe even by the time you guys get back here, and maybe we could give you some more. You see Mig shake their head before stopping themselves mid head shake, realizing, oh, okay, well, yeah. He sort of slumps over to grab two of the other ones and herd them into your herd. Is this good now?
Yeah, I think that'd be just fine.
Okay, well, like I said, maybe see about coming back, giving us a hand, bailing out your old buddy Polishan, maybe.
If it's a way of guaranteeing more transport missions, I'm sure if it becomes profitable for everyone involved.
I mean, that wasn't really like a yes is the thing. That was kind of a
I'm just
longer-
a simple rigger. I don't make these kinds of
Mhm.
promises, but I'll put in a good word.
Okay, well, all right. Yeah, he sort of quietly and sort of crestfallenly ushers them back through the village. You can assist, just in kind of walking on each side and making sure they don't wander. The job itself probably only takes about an hour. These things do not move very fast, so what was like a 20-minute walk across town still takes a considerable amount as these things sort of slowly plod. No amount of prodding on his part can convince them to move faster. It can simply convince them of what direction to move. And yeah, they get loaded up into kind of up the ramp into the cargo hold. Yeah, Beacon gently prods them, keeps them in line. Probably does a much more efficient job of it than Polishan. Polishan sort of, I think, as the last one goes in, goes, oh, I'm gonna go talk to the council then. And Mig says, yes, the funds for the job will be wired, with the exception of a deduction for the two missing. Polishan just kind of nods. Yeah, I figured. Well, I'll maybe see you around. Looks at everyone.
When exactly are we expected back with these pigs? How much time?
As quickly as possible.
That doesn't answer my question. What is our actual delivery date?
We do not have a defined delivery date. However, the sooner we deliver them, the better we will be paid.
Mm-hmm.
The more favor we will gain with our employer, additionally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Polishan, exactly how much is this bounty you are talking about? I'm just trying to run the math, see if the reduced pay based on timeliness, and he gestures towards Mig, is more than made up for by whatever this bounty might be. Actually, Mig, if you had some idea of the pay differential between, say, a day or two, perhaps that might inform Polishan's discussion with the council, and we can see which of these two things would allow us to which ones would be more profitable.
Everybody can give me an insight check on Mig. If you would like to.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Mig got what he came here for.
Okay. With an 18 and 16, you could see Mig is being with an 11 he appears to be telling the truth. 1816, you can see Mig is being evasive about something in his reply. Constance, you get the sense that 23 is pretty good. You get the sense that the Gork pigs are not the priority, because in his next words he says, the mission parameters state the importance of the timeliness of our delivery. Specifically, the loss of the Gork pigs can be recouped easily enough. I do not believe that the differential in time to wait for this job would be beneficial to the crew or to myself. Although it may be worth
Well-
the money, not the favor.
I see.
Can we just come back? We got a ship. We
mhm,
got here in
mhm.
like 2 days from the port. The city that we're delivering to is like near the port.
Indeed.
It took us 5 days to get from to get to. Oh, you mean from the port to this? Never mind. I know
Yeah.
what you mean now. There's still the journey once we're back seaside.
It will
Well, I
be a
mean-
considerable journey.
I think what it really comes down to, and it's not that I don't want to help you out, Polly. It's just, we're a delivery service. We aren't really bounty hunters. So, if we have the chance or we're in the neighborhood, we'll look you up. But I think it'd probably be best if we get going.
Mig turns to you, Zedekiss, and says, you profess to have some knowledge of what may have taken these Gork pigs, yes?
Nothing specific. I understand there are a few predatory species of plants that prey on things like the Gork pigs and other
In your
plants. This entire planet is plants. It's bizarre.
in your considered opinion, then, is it likely that this being will strike again?
Almost certainly. When they've discovered a food source, they will return to it until there is no food left.
Excellent. Polishon, will you please inform us of the bounty after the next attack? Polishon, you can't, there's no facial expression, but you could just see the, tension run through him. Well, I didn't,
They've given us all but 2 of their pigs. If there's another attack, this place is done for. There will be no bounty. But if our mission is speed, then our mission is speed. Polishon, I highly suggest you reinforce your gate. Perhaps move these Gork pigs to another pen.
Maybe
It's
put
an
auto turrets on the
4 dogs or
outside.
something.
auto what?
Auto turrets?
What is
They-
that?
Well, they're like little emplacements that
I
shoot
don't
projectiles.
know. Well, how do they do that?
Well, I don't know. Depends. If you want a gun, you can have a gun. If you want a crossbow, that works too.
Oh, well, we got guns. Do we just put it on a stick and what's an emplacement like?
Sev, consider your audience.
I mean, you could just booby trap it. You could just do the thing where you put a gun on a stand pointing at the entrance, and if somebody trips the stand, then they get shot.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, well,
Ain't it?
I'll probably do that.
Yeah, you can refine it really good if you like lasers. If something breaks the beam and it is an enemy, then you can it'll shoot on its own.
Lasers are
and
off.
It has
We don't
what do you
really
mean?
lasers here. It's kind of, I don't know. The guns though, we can maybe do a gun.
Just be careful if you also consider my idea of spore dogs, because you don't want to accidentally shoot a dog if it trips wire by accident.
Well, you could
But,
probably
you
keep
know-
those in the pen because they probably won't eat the Gork pigs. They're friends.
Yeah,
mean, that's how
friendly
that
spore dogs, and they make racket if something comes and they fight off an enemy.
Oh, and probably put up signs if you're just going to do the booby trap thing, because you and your buddies can read them, but whatever wild animal is coming to steal your shit can't. So, unless it's intelligent, are these
Yeah, I
things
mean,
intelligent?
or if it's a
Children of
person,
Zedicus?
particularly a wild animal.
Fair point. No signs, just, I don't know, like a marker or something. Tell your
Well,
friend. All right, see ya.
Good luck.
Like you can see, he's just locked in place, just like making slight confused noises. Just Mig glances at all of you. Let us go inside now. Farewell, Polishon, and Nebbit. Hopefully, disaster does not strike. However, if it does, consider hazard pay, and we may be back. Good day. And walks up into the cargo bay.
Yep, I'll follow him.
So, you take off. Nez comes out briefly to look at the pigs, as like they're corralled into this very small sort of pen enclosure. They can't really move around very much, but they don't seem to want to or need to particularly. And just sort of shakes his head and walks back into his workshop. The trip back to whereas the trip there took about 2 days, the trip back, you notice, Zedicus, takes about rather than 2.5 days, it takes about 2 days. As if the maneuver that you inputted for this sort of gravitational slingshot was done more efficiently on the return trip.
Mhm.
Is there anything specific any of you would like to do with the 2 days of downtime that you have as you head back towards the port of Else on Lectos?
Tour a little bit.
So you continue your wandering with Beacon, yes?
Yeah.
Cool. Anything in specific you're looking for, or like investigating?
Nope, we're observers.
Okay, cool. Anyone else?
Constance will be out and about, particularly where people congregate, and particularly where food is being consumed, and will sort of take note of what the local delicacies are, and perhaps try and find some people engaging in some recreational activities for ideas to bring back to the ship.
Or sorry, this is the return trip, right? As you guys left.
Oh, we're already on the boat. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, then keeping an eye on the pigs, make sure they don't eat any of the food.
You were sent with a pack of sporing food, whatever that means, and you do feed each of
So
them.
horrible.
And nothing appears to happen immediately, at least not in the 2 days that you've been watching.
Wonderful.
Mig will inform as you get closer to as you enter into Lectos's minimal atmosphere, that Mig would like to attend to very brief personal business in Else once we arrive. He informs you it should only be an hour or two, but that he will be leaving the vessel and going to meet with someone before returning.
Do we get paid there, or do we get paid when we get back?
No, we will be paid when we return to Pendeldock.
All right.
You need an escort. Last time we saw you in port at Pendledock and Magaro, it nearly. Well, I think that child perhaps would have attempted to cause you harm had we not been there.
I should be fine, I believe. It will be brief.
Mm-hmm. Carry on then. Soon as we're underway, I will begin plotting a course quickly as possible.
Mhm. So you pass back through the port of Else. It is more for most of you, especially for those that have like this is your first time doing the re-entry. Strangely, the re-entry feels a lot less jarring than the exit. Although you do reach the end and have to sort of burst the surface tension. And the particular, as you are like passing through, this time you do see out of the port and starboard side portholes, you see other vessels passing you some distance away. And yeah, you pass through. As you pull out, the ship charts a course for a minor dock in Else. As you get closer, again, you see a city built in tiers into the side of this sort of craggy Scottish Highland style bluff, and the dock you dock at is similarly shitty to the dock that the UE docked at in Pendledock. It's a bit out of the way. It is not in a particularly nice part of town. At least for those of you that have, been in port towns, you can kind of assess like what is the seedy part, what is the part that probably has slightly less guards patrolling, generally speaking. Mig will inform all of you that he is leaving and will depart.
I'm actually kind of interested in following Mig from a distance.
Okay. Anyone else?
Shady just wants to so badly, but I need to get this course plotted, so I will stay put.
Dux knows that he is not going to be successful in sneakily following. He's obvious and noticeable. But he will offer to Beacon to do a little bit of quick little magic and casts. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Oops. He'll just shoot. Cast Gift of Alacrity with his Seat Touch feature. It might not be useful, but in case something happens while they're off on their own.
Let me see what that does.
Just a D8 to initiative.
Okay, cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, Seb's just probably gonna disembark, find a bar somewhere, and see if there's anybody interesting to talk to.
Yeah, you got an hour or two, so you could maybe scoot off to a bar nearby. Mig didn't really give specific instructions about like what you should or shouldn't be doing, so it's not like you are required to stay. But the implication was maybe that he was expecting everybody to stay and then to come back quickly. So yeah, for those disembarking, first we'll go to Sev. Actually, both of you first. Else is a very, I should say, stereotypically dwarvish town. In that a lot of the architecture is very like squat and well built. And now that you are kind of standing on the lowest tier of this like multiple tier, you could see even more like distinctly the very clear sort of civil engineering that has made this place. these large like waterways that are carrying water up from the sea up through the multiple tiers of this place. You actually see like lights and power in a lot of places, which is not every place in the sea has similar, and certainly not at this scale. Bagaro does because it is currently a hub of technological innovation. But not every place has these, the ability to string up lights to this degree. So it's a fairly modern town by sea standards. Sev, you find you find a kind of dive bar. There's not a lot of people there, but there is a bard playing. Is there anything specifically you want to do, or do you just want to shoot the shit?
I mean, if anybody's into mechanical shit, I'd love to know like places to get supplies and any word from anybody about building things. See if there's anything interesting I could dredge up. If not, then I'll just shoot the shit, listen to the bard.
Yeah, if you like march up to the the barkeep will essentially inform you that if you want to talk about engineering, you got to go to the college, but that's like 3 or 4 tiers up. When you ask how long that'd take, they tell you like 2-3 hours foot. You'd have to pay if you want to do one of the quick transports up. But if you're looking for just scrap, there's plenty of places, around probably a 10 to 15 minute walk to the edge of the mercantile district, or rather the trade district nearby, to maybe get some, spare bits and bobs for mechanical workings.
Yeah. I'll probably check one of those places out, see if anything valuable dropped by.
Yeah. Let's go over to. We'll come back to that in a second. Beacon, give me a stealth roll. You're trying to stay. You have very good perception, so you can actually like clock him to a degree that is easier than most.
Right.
And he's not making any efforts to mask his travel either. Yep. He definitely, as far as you can tell, does not notice you. You
And I'm going to have my echo following me, and I'm going to have like mechanically the farthest distance we can be separated.
Mhm.
I think it's 120 feet. It's
Yep.
not like
it's
yeah, with the thought that like if I get caught and there's an issue, bonus action swap places and book it.
I gotcha. It's a
Yeah.
combo of that and just a general paranoia of if anybody's following you.
Yes,
You would see.
absolutely.
It's twofer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is. I think the other one gets a few strange looks as you're moving.
Yeah, a lot of people would have the like weird feeling of like seeing the glitch in the matrix of seeing someone who you just saw walk past again.
I think the way that it ambulates isn't quite entirely right. There are just like a few frame drops here and there where like it's not fully fluid. There's just a blip where your legs don't move, but you've moved forward. A little weirdness like that. All right, you see Mig peel off into a fairly nondescript bar, but though you can see the title placard across the front of it reads The Lazy Laggard.
All right.
And what do you do?
I would like to enter as well.
Okay.
But I'll leave the echo outside because as it happens, and I remember this from last time, but just double checked, it can only be 30 feet away. But like that's a great distance in D&D.
Yeah, that's Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's out on the street, kind of just watching. Not probably watching the street, right? Or
Yeah.
is it watching the actual establishment?
The street.
Okay.
Looking like someone who's just out for a smoke.
You walk in, and this bar is pretty crowded. There is largely dwarvish clientele, although there is a smattering of other races here as well, both sea and sphere. Mig seems to be veering very like quickly to a corner. And roll me a quick perception check.
Okay.
So you immediately clock he kind of in this corner that is a little bit darker than the rest of the establishment. There is a minder seated. It took you a second because you had to step to the side because the minder is seated such that they cannot be seen directly from the door. But Mig is very clearly veering towards them and sits down at the table. Give me a stealth roll again. Or rather, I suppose, what do you do next? Do you try to keep a distance, or are you trying to...
I'm going to try to keep distance and
Mhm.
rely on the fact that I can hear better than I can hide.
Yes. Okay, that's fair. I think there's enough people in here, and you are distinctive, but you can kind of like mask yourself enough to stay out of visual of where Mig could maybe see you. And go ahead and roll me a perception check then.
Okay.
Actually, roll me this one with advantage.
Okay. Yeah, that
Okay.
figures.
So you catch the like vague impression of words as they seem to be having a like sort of vapid congenial like greeting conversation between them. But more importantly, with the other set of senses that you have, you catch another, like, you don't quite have as good a grasp on it as you did the previous, but very clearly you know what you're looking at. There is a packet of information transfer between the two of them.
Okay.
They continue sitting for again having this very banal conversation about the weather as they're sort of robotically talking back and forth to each other. You catch that the minder that he is speaking with is named Dremet. Dremet.
And in that packet of information, do I pick up anything distinctive or memorable?
Roll me an investigation check.
Oh boy. Ooh, okay,
Not
hot
bad.
dice today. All right.
Okay, so again, it's like you're starting to get the general feel of it, or the general like understanding of how they're doing this transfer information. The information being relayed to Mig seems to largely be navigational information, though you're not really sure what it relates to. You catch like, coordinates for something. Mig, on the other hand, you very clearly catch the words, or essentially because it's not really words, right? But piracy, and then negative, and then let's see, piracy, negative, and then next in relay.
Okay. Okay. And do I have any understanding of what any of that could be in reference
So the navigational information, not as much. Other than you can tell it is several distinct locations. You wouldn't know really what exactly the longitude and latitude would be. Other than you know that there is multiple.
Mhm.
As for the piracy, in considering it, best you can tell, Mig is telling Dermet that they did not encounter any piracy in between Lektos and and uh, Gork.
Okay.
So you can make potentially some inferences, but yeah, that's of piracy in the spheres. It's a little different, but yeah, piracy still occurs there.
Okay. Once is this like the duration of the conversation that like bears my attention?
In point of fact, the packet information transfer happens almost instantaneously, and the
Right.
remaining 19 minutes is them having a very banal conversation. So
Yeah. Once
yeah.
it sounds like the information, like the exchange is done, I will swap places with my Echo. The Echo that remains inside will melt, and I will walk back towards the docks.
Clean. Okay. Over to you, Sev. So essentially, how much money are you trying to spend? Because you do find what's basically just the equivalent of a junkyard. It just has a bunch of scrap metal, a bunch of cogs and springs. It's run by a dragonborn man who it doesn't really seem to have much in the way of storefront appeal, other than they have a yard behind their business that's just filled with bric-a-brac and shit.
Well, okay. But firstly, like my ship project is going to be making that heat sink that we talked about earlier. My personal sort of interests lie more in seeing if they've got anything interesting and or illicit around.
Give me. So, how do you approach trying to ask for illicit tech?
Not necessarily illicit, but I'm just gonna be stride confidently up to the counter and put one giant metal gauntlet on my hip and the other one on the counter and ask, "Hey, got any good stuff in lately?"
Give me a persuasion check.
You got it. Yep, that's cracks. Jesus Christ, Max, you stole my dice.
He shakes his head slowly and just points to a sign on the wall that says "Yard Out Back."
Oh, you mean I gotta look for it? I mean, you obviously vet whatever's coming through here, right? Nothing good? Fine, I'll
If you
visit the
want
yard.
something, go get something. Bring it back to me. I will evaluate.
Okay. Damn. Thought I was gonna spice up the workday, but here I am going back to the yard. She leaves.
Yep. I guess give me an investigation to see what you can scrounge from this yard. Ooh, the lights are starting to flicker and the rain is getting very heavy.
All right, investigation. Hey! There
Uh,
are my dice.
yeah.
The dice.
Basically, okay, so you find the parts you think you need to get you find a few basically junked constructs that you think if you took some pieces, you could get that homunculi fixed. That's just a bonus, right? Because that's you're looking for that out of the corner of your mind. You're mostly focused on the good shit. And I do think you find a pretty, what should be expensive piece of what was probably once a junked magnetic engine that might actually definitely would, with some work. You might need a few more pieces, but this is a good start towards your heatsink idea.
All right. She'll take her multi-tool, plug it into her gauntlets, and start unscrewing it from the junky engine. And brings it back to the counter. How much for this?
I think, yeah, he looks them over and says, "What are they worth to you?"
I don't know. Kind of in bad shape. Corrosion's kind of fucked them. Whatever blew this engine really did a number on the parts around it. I'd probably take it for like 10 gold.
Either give me a persuasion or deception check. I assume deception, maybe.
Yes, deception is
Yeah.
the one that I'm going for. Woo!
Yeah, he looks it over, seems to sort of weigh it in his mind, and then he nods. Holds out his hand.
Seb empties her pockets and gives him all her money.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah. He nods, points to a different sign on the wall that says "No refunds, no returns."
Returns? Man, you'd have to pay me if you want to get this back in the condition I'm gonna leave it in. All right, see ya.
And you head back to the boat?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I go to the bar with my giant fucking heat sink.
Fair enough.
Pop it on the counter and have a brew.
Look, I don't know your life.
You
I don't
know
what
that,
shit
that
you get
would,
up to.
that would not be out of character for
You know-
Sev.
You know you don't have a ton of time at this point.
Yeah, so I'll probably go back to the ship. If she did have time,
Yeah.
that's what I would be doing.
So
You're
Beacon
right.
arrives first. You probably arrive 15 minutes, or rather, probably 15 to 20 minutes thereafter. Beacon, do you do anything when you get back to the ship?
No, nothing specific. Just get ready to get back to work.
Okay. Cool. Sev, you return. I assume immediately go down to your workshop.
I'll probably go into the common room and just ask, hey, anybody else do anything? No? Everyone here and accounted for?
Everybody
Other
besides
than Mig.
Yeah, everybody besides Mig seems to be here.
All right. Going back down to my little dungeon. See you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Do you need any assistance?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very well.
Like what kind? Hold on. I don't want you to lose a finger or tentacle. Do they grow back?
Oh, no. But I'm not concerned.
You should be. Shit's dangerous. Like, most of my siblings are missing limbs or fingers. So, maybe they're just bad. Oh well. Anyways, if you want to help, come down.
And Constance will follow Sev down to Sev's workshop / room.
What does your side of this room look like, Sev? Like, what have you done here?
Probably not much, because she'll probably work on basically everything except for like maybe welding
Mhm.
in the engine room.
Yeah.
So nothing much.
Actually, as a quick aside, Zadicus, during this time, Patch delivers first one piece of a table, then another piece of a table, and carries them in separate into your room. After a few moments, Nez comes in, shakes his head, and says, I'm late. Sorry. Walks over. Patch holds up both sides of the table. Nez mutters something and then runs a hand over the center of the table as Patch is keeping it like locked together. And the two sides slowly mend into one so that you have one table per your specifications.
No worries at all.
Unprofessional. That's my bad. He just nods, turns, walks out. Patch
So,
gives you a wave.
Not a second thought. Take care, Patch.
After another 30-ish minutes, Mig comes walking back in, checks in with each of you to make sure you are ready to continue to our next place. Zadicus, you are charting out a course, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to get us there as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah, so the quickest way right now would probably be around sort of the tip of Shoal, and then to the east of Svartholm, and then just a straight shot down. You do know that it is high mist season, which means that visibility is going to be really poor for pretty much the entire eastern coast of Svartholm, as long as you are traveling along it. However, it is the fastest way by far to get to where you're going.
Okay. Yeah, I will use the full time reduction that I can do, and I will do my best to push it a little bit more.
Okay. Give me a navigator's tools roll. Or do you not want to?
Yep. Okay, my tab just reloaded, and I'm in an entirely different game. Hold on.
That's happened to me before.
All right, I'm back. And you said navigators with. Am I still speaking directly to the UE?
Yep.
Okay.
So it can either be navigators or potentially charisma if that's more to your liking.
I'm sorry, that's an attribute and a skill. So navigator with charisma, or did you mean charisma or intelligence? Whichever.
Sorry, yeah, it's navigator and either use charisma or intelligence. It's up to you.
It's 13 on the dial. Take it, I
Okay.
guess.
So yeah, you think you could push it to time and 3/4,
Nice.
which is it's the fastest you have ever heard of anybody maybe doing this, and it's quite a bit faster than like even you thought would be possible. But your estimates per the UE and what its capabilities are suggest that you think you can get more out of the UE than a standard helmsman. So you push it, and the UE doesn't seem to give much in the way of like resistance, simply agrees, charts the course, and then proceeds. So let me work this out. Yep. You believe that you are about to shave what would be a 19 or roughly 18 or 19-day trip into something closer to 11 days. If your calculations hold, and weather permits, and the UE does exactly as you stated, that is your best estimate currently.
Excellent. Just up the coast. I know that there are some coastal slips here and here and here. This should allow us to reach there as fast as is physically possible, short of magical intervention.
Yep. So you all begin to travel. It's good to be, for those of you that have never been in the spheres, it's good to be back seaside, I think, just to see the sky, to be able to stand on the deck. And as you travel, is there anything specific any of you want to do sort of during the lull? There will probably be about 4 to 5 days before you make the turn into the misty area.
Probably just keep working on my thing.
Do you try to get the I suppose, do you try to improve it all upon the pulley system, or is that sufficient for now?
Since we're back sphere side, I might as well do it. Yeah, I think since I know I need more parts for what you call it? Sorry. Yeah, the heatsink needs more parts, so I'm just gonna compile parts until I think I can start meaningful work on it. Yeah, I'll start to modifying the zip line so it doesn't come loose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. A few days in, off to your port side, you see the mountains of Hearth. It is essentially a very large snow-capped mountain range. Those of you with sea knowledge would know that apart from the volcano of Vosted, this is some of the highest elevations you can be while still standing on the ground anywhere in the sea. And a day or two after that, each of you can see very clearly off to your again port side, the Svartholm Glacier. It is a truly enormous thing, rising not quite as high as the mountains, but higher than, considering it appears to have a flat top from where you can see, and the distance you are from it. The fact that you can see it at all is mind-boggling. For those that haven't seen it before, the true scale of it, as you consider just how far away you are from it, is probably pretty staggering. Which I guess would probably just be you, Sev. Everyone else is probably familiar with it or has seen it to some capacity, and you probably only catch a glance of it, as you're working on the rigging before heading on down below decks. A few more days pass, and you over here reach the misty country, for lack of a better term. It is a solid wall of mist to the extent that you can see it for probably a half day's travel before you even reach it. As you are approaching it, you can see very clearly the mist is blowing down in a steady sort of like almost like a waterfall, like a titanic waterfall from the top of the Svartholm Glacier. And as you enter into this fog, probably nobody but Zadicus has truly been inside of the fog during high fog season, and you are taken aback by just how little you can actually see while you are in here. The ship engages its deck side like lights and the lighting systems on the side, but even then, you cannot see much more than probably 30 feet from your vessel. Another thing that occurs is the wind in here feels oddly stifled. The fog doesn't seem to move quite as much as it should. It is very thick and ever present, and a little bit oppressive. What does I suppose who all is on deck during the probably day after you hit the fog?
Dux is definitely staying on deck.
Yeah.
Seb's on deck.
Zashel is, or Jesus, Zadicus is as well.
It, as I said, is like for that first day, you strain to see anything beyond this kind of impenetrable fog. Beacon, it is very disconcerting for you because from where you stand atop the mast, around 30 to 40 feet below you, you cannot see the deck of the ship anymore.
Yeah, I'm up here to listen.
Yeah. I figured you would maintain your post using your better senses.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can no longer see the deck below, which is maybe a little bit disconcerting. Zadicus, the chart you are like trying to match, you realize you're gonna keep on pace, and if you hadn't had the knowledge that you do, you suspect you might have ended up falling into Dead Sea, and maybe not even being able to move anymore, as you realize that like the wind isn't really catching in the sails in here. Dux, you don't really have much to do, as the masts seem to kind of be dead, even though the vessel is continuing to sort of slide forward. You travel for around, let's see. Yeah, another 3 to 4 days of just like zero visibility. The mood, I think, which might be of interest to you, Constance, the mood of everybody is a little bit more tense, and a little bit more, at least of all of the existing crew. People are quieter, a little bit spooked.
Constance will take note, but sort of respect that and give people their space.
Mm-hmm. On the afternoon of the fourth day into here, you know, Zadicus, that you must be getting close. You can rely on your charts, even in the absence of any external information. At the speed you've been moving at, you must be getting close. You're on the right track. Beacon, roll me a perception check.
All right, 1 sec. Oh, okay.
You can very, very faintly, in specifically like the register of heat, see what is some kind of heat source at the same, except a little bit taller, eye level to you, quite a ways in the distance, slowly pinging. And you realize it's pinging out. It's probably an auto lantern, and it's pinging out an SOS.
I'll pass that message along. Something in distress.
I don't know if we're in a position to be moving too far to assist something else, but see what we come upon in the water. I'm afraid if we stray too far from our current path, we will lose significant time, possibly even endangering the vessel if the shallows are closer up on us than I think they are.
I mean, if we hit the doldrums, I can just supercharge the engines and get us back in.
Not without damage to the vessel and delays to our time.
Not damage to the vessel. I can control it pretty well. It will start to get a little smoky down there, but it won't damage it if I kind of get a little gentle with the throttle. Trust me, I can do it.
I would rather you didn't have to, depending on what this is that we're hearing a distress call for.
Right. Well, I say check it out.
Beacon, the point some distance, it's still some distance away, but you blink and it's a little bit closer. You still think it's quite a ways away, but it is
But it's
definitely
fast.
moving. Yeah.
It's approaching.
So it's moving, or are we moving closer to it?
Collision may be imminent.
Oh, not bad. Well,
Hold on. Where are my notes? How is it close enough that Zadicus can see it from where he is?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's still much too far away. In addition to that, the fog is just very difficult. Beacon can see it for other senses, but with pure vision, no.
If we need to swerve suddenly, let me know. I can override the UE if we're not around a console to talk to it.
At this, the helm pops out from the deck with like a mechanical ka-chunk.
I didn't actually request the override UE. I just want to make that clear, but I appreciate it anyway. And Zadicus will take the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Has Mig been around to witness this sort of discussion that's going on about what to do and how to do it?
Yeah. As soon as, almost like timed perfectly, the helm pops out and Mig ascends from a ladder.
Okay.
And he says, I'm aware of the situation. What is the determination?
very
Intercept.
determined.
Intercept? Do you have a sense for how long?
Do I? I'm gonna see with the 12.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Unfortunately not. It's hard because you're looking in the heat register and all you're getting is a blip, and you can tell that the blip is getting closer, but it without a frame of reference for the background, it's really hard to tell how fast.
I can see neither distance nor time, but soon. Sorry, I said distance or size, but soon.
Hey, should we maybe slow down and then see if it's still getting closer than we are coming to it? Because that would mean it's moving.
It is moving.
That was
Okay.
my takeaway as well.
Do
Question
you
is,
have a
do we want
recommendation?
to drop anchor and prepare for it sounds like it's moving towards us. Does that sound correct, Beacon?
As far as we can tell.
We may be better off dropping anchor, stopping, waiting for its intercept, and not risking a collision when we can barely see. We don't know what this is. Depending on how big it is, the damage of it colliding with this vessel could be considerable.
Do Dux or Constance have a thought?
I can do something about some of this fog, but not until the issue is closer, and it's a very small area that I could affect. I think not running into something at full speed is a good idea. We'd lose more time suffering a collision than waiting for this to pass, or come to us, or do whatever it's going to do.
Yes, agreed.
If the Capistan is near me, I will release the pin and drop the anchor.
Okay. I will move you all to this map. I've tested something out, so I'll see what you can see. I put you all on the boat. You should have control of your tokens. Can you see the boat and the surrounding area?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a good catch.
And
But
yes, it's only about there, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. I have done things correctly. Several tense minutes pass. Beacon, it gets closer and closer and closer. The first thing that all of you see is a point at the end of the ship as it gets close, and then it pulls up into an immediate abrupt stop. Zedicus, you would know this very quickly as one of the Goliath's stone ships in its make. Although you cannot see the vessel beyond. You can simply see the very front of this long spear at the end of it, as this vessel has stopped unnaturally quickly, and you cannot see the vessel beyond.
you can just see the bowsprit sticking out here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Stone ship. This could get hairy.
All right. Several long, tense moments. Feel free to position yourself wherever you would like to be on the deck, because nothing happens for a beat, 2 beat, 3. And everybody can roll me a perception check. Not bad. Okay. Those below a 15, you can see like a 50. Yeah, so 15 and below. The fog at the very edge of the perimeter of this place ripples a little bit, and you see some of it creeps up, and like almost like the effect of like when you throw dry. I think it's like dry ice or liquid nitrogen, where like that kind of it creeps up over the top and is starting to cover the top of the deck. And the fog, like circle of fog, starts to constrict slightly as the circle gets a little bit smaller. And those over a 20, you see towards the center, essentially up here, a form slowly coalescing.
In these few tense minutes that we've had, would Dux be able to cast Gift of Alacrity on himself?
Yep. Yeah, you have a good amount of time. Sev, you like look down near your feet and see the fog starting to pool into a central area. Hella gets up and like essentially runs towards the back of the boat.
What's going on?
A distress signal.
Order, I think.
I believe I see the fog coalescing into something just over there. And at that, I will cast Bless on Sev, Dux, and Beacon.
All right. There is a you cast this bless out. It settles. There is a beat, and then the figure made out of the fog coalesces. Let's see. You see as it like seems to gather itself up, a very amorphous shape of fog as it starts to solidify a little bit and seems to gather almost like a cloak about itself. Sev, you have a moment to to try to get the fuck away as it's assembling.
Ah, sweet steel chips. She's gonna go ahead and just get a little bit right here.
As it is forming, you see bits of kind of its cloak seem to be cast off and sink below into the deck. And almost like a second later, you hear the beginning of screaming from below. And that is where we will end today, I think. That's a good ending spot.
That is a good ending spot. Cliffhanger.
Yeah.